You're listening to the M.A.V show, episode number 12, Top 5 Villains. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the M.A.V show.
Welcome back, people. Welcome back.
Where we talk about manga, anime, and video games. I'm your host, Vontae, KV for short.
I am your co-host, Little Brother.
What up, little brother, man? What up,
What's
up, man? How you been?
Alright. I've been alright. Chilling for the most part. Getting through work again. You know, it's weird. We're all in dark times right now. And it's kind of going up. Like at first, it was happening and then slowly started dying down. Like, oh, we're opening some of the stores back. And then at least for Arizona's sake, curfew. So not all the stores are open again. And then for a split second, they opened up again. And then apparently they added the curfew once again.
Yeah. So the whole curfew thing at 8 o'clock has definitely been a little binding, I should say.
That's a good word for it.
Yeah, binding. I mean, as a grown adult, I don't know how you gonna tell me to be in the house by 8 o'clock and I gotta stay here. I ain't gonna lie, it don't work like that.
Yeah.
Personally, hey man, I'm gonna do whatever I want.
Let's just say tension starts to grow.
Yeah, it's a little weird. How was your trip going to see sister?
Yeah, I went to. By the way, if we're a little bit late on this week, we know we are. That's our fault. But it was because we have lives outside of the podcast, unfortunately. And I went to go visit my sister. It was my niece's 9th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
She's 9, right?
Yeah.
Don't judge me.
Sorry. Shout out to my little sister. I'm sorry I couldn't make it due to a lot of other difficulties.
Yeah.
I couldn't make it. But, shout out to our niece, Ayala. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Ayala.
Belated. Belated. It was last week. So,
and I'm not so sure if you guys just wanted to hear a KV podcast. If you do, though, go ahead and shoot that in the comments. Maybe you just want to hear one of us.
It was weird. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I would be able to do it.
Just talking to yourself.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't be talking to yourself. You'd be talking to the audience.
I would, but it'd be so weird. I don't know. I don't know, man. That'd be. Hey, y'all, don't ask for that. Don't ask for nothing I'm not comfortable with doing. Hey, let's not do that.
How about you? How was your weekend?
My weekend was cool. I got a new car.
Oh, that's right. KV got his new car, y'all.
Yeah, I got a new 2019 Dodge Charger GT. Oh my god!
I didn't know it was 2019. Jesus, that's new.
Yeah, man.
That's new.
I've been wanting a Charger forever too, man. Like ever since like 10 years ago when they first came out, and I'm just so in love with it.
Once you get to know me and KV, we're big Dodge fans. Not like Dodge Ram or like any other Dodge Avenger or anything. Specifically of the Dodge Challengers and the Dodge Chargers.
Yeah, so I've always wanted a Dodge Charger. I just love the body, how they look. Like they just look mean with style. And then my little brother's favorite is the Dodge Challenger. And so
I want a Dodge Demon one day. Which, if you don't know, a Dodge Demon and the Dodge Challenger are same thing, but the Dodge Demon is more sports enhanced.
Yeah, so it's almost like the cousin, or like almost like the brother for like the Hellcat series. Just designed to go quicker, faster. I think it was probably like the only different specifications versus the other models, really.
All right.
But yeah, I'm just in love with it. So I just been looking at different videos to put different modifications and stuff on it.
Nice.
And I was like, oh my god, I love you. I love you.
All right. So to kind of just start it off the show, I actually wanted to talk about a subject. Shout out to Aaron for bringing this up to me. And people put their like fights together and like say who would win this fight, or these people together would make a great battle. And if you know the channel Rooster Teeth, they have a show called Death Battle, and they kind of did something similar to this. They did Might Guy versus All Might. Might Guy from Naruto, All Might from My Hero Academia. But Aaron asked me who would win in a fight. Rock Lee from Naruto or Midoriya from My Hero Academia. And to me, that's a bit more interesting fight, just because if you, and we're talking Rock Lee in Shippuden.
Naruto Shippuden. So you want to give the Shippuden Rock Lee, the older, close to like 18, yes, between 18 and 20 Rock,
because honestly,
versus a kid.
Because honestly, I feel like if it's young Rock Lee versus young Midoriya would probably win. Like almost like a no contest.
So, yes and no. So I would think you would kind of give both of them. So Midoriya is given like a lot of power. It's almost like giving the kid a bazooka. You know, he can only really release a lot of that power all at once. But guess what? If he misses, the self damage he also does to himself is catastrophic.
It is. And here's the thing though, like, and this is why I wanted kind of like both of them at their peak, because the most recent episode, at least that I've seen, I have not seen the movies, but the most like recent episode, which is like the 4th season finale or so, Midoriya, he gets to use 15% of his power. At 15% of his power, he's able to create shockwaves of air and like, you know, long distance attacks, because that was like his next challenge was finding enemies who can hit me from long range. How can I combat that? And then now he's using the air pressure to create shockwaves and such.
Definitely interesting. So, but is he still receiving a lot of self-infliction?
No, because that was his big thing. He would receive the self-infliction when he was trying to use 100% of his power, and all that would blow back at him and just crush his body. But now he had to work it down all the way to like 1%, worked it up to 5%, like 8%, and now he's like at 15%.
So this would definitely make it a lot more interesting. But even so, like current Rock Lee, I'm not gonna give Rock Lee after the war. We're gonna give Rock Lee like right when the war is starting. I'm gonna say from there.
I would say let Rock Lee go to 7 Gate. I want to see him in 7 Gate.
So even before he gets there, Rock Lee has a ton more experience than I will give Midoriya.
That's fair.
And not even only that, in killing people.
Rock Lee, who is Rock Lee killed?
Well, okay. I mean, but like, remember, these are all ninjas, and even though they don't necessarily go into the background of each of these people, like they've all done missions to where like they've had their ups and downs and challenges.
And I feel like you're getting at is the deaths factor. Like they've seen a lot of death though, right? Not Naruto. Midoriya has seen his fair share. Like death is prevalent in their world. Heroes have died in My Hero Academia. And he's seen, and I'm trying to think. I'm not so sure if he's physically seen somebody die. I believe he has though. But, you know, they can die. They know that like their life is in peril when it comes to My Hero. It's not like fluffy, like, I want to say fairy tale. Nobody dies in fairy tale. I mean, if they do, they're like the side of a side character.
True. Not too many main characters die in there. If any.
I was going to say, in the whole guild, they treat like main characters.
Yeah, the whole guild treat like main characters. Not one person drops dead.
Not one.
But yeah, so I see what you're saying. And then it will kind of go into like battle experience. I mean, just who's stronger. Technique, who's stronger. Once again, Midoriya would have to literally catch Rock Lee. So even at 15% of power, where he's definitely doing damage, Rock Lee's hella quick. Not only that, Rock Lee is built for up close battle technique. Midoriya does not have the experience of fighting somebody like that. But then again, if I'll give it to Midoriya, if he touches you, he can wreck your life. Like he's a one hitter quitter.
Yeah. So that was another thing that we were talking about was, if like what would come down to it maybe is Rock Lee's taijutsu, which he excels in. And it was the experience, like the martial arts technique. Like if he puts together a good combo on Midoriya, it'd probably be over for Midoriya. But like you said, if Midoriya gets that one hit on him, which Midoriya is no slouch, he has to learn his fair share of like combat experience, and he's fought a high tier enemy before too. Granted, he had a little girl on his back constantly healing him, so he could use 100% of his power. But Midoriya knows what it's like to be in full combat before. Like, probably one of the like most like engaged combat scenes that you see is when he goes up against the villain Stain. It's 3-1 in Midoriya's favor, and he's fighting this dude, and they just have to find multiple ways to get around him, and like Stain can paralyze them. So as soon as they get paralyzed, they have to like not only work with that, but get back into combat while this is all flowing. To me, just Midoriya, like you said, probably needs more experience. But with that said, I feel like Midoriya could pull off a win.
So, and I'll say my final say so on this. What I will also give Midoriya is how Rock Lee is so head forward, like he's so headstrong. So Rock Lee would definitely give the Midoriya the chance to give 100% in one single punch, and Rock Lee, even with all the gates and everything, would try to return that and probably lose. And so, like I said, concerning power wise, at 15%, I don't think he could probably catch Rock Lee. Or maybe like take him out maybe in one punch. I mean, he probably could, but I'm not really sure he can. But if he throws 100% at him and catches Rock Lee with one, yeah, game over. Like, and I really could see him doing that.
Right. There's another thing. So they did that death battle, and death battle. If you know death battle, they do all these statistics, they do all these like mathematics, and sometimes it just gets overblown and drowned out. But I feel like they said it in the episode, but they didn't really take in the factor that in like the newest episode, All Might looks at Midoriya, and Midoriya's all like, "But you're using 100% of your power all the time. I can't do that." And he's like, "Well, hold on. I'm not using 100% of my power at all times. If I were to do that, just me walking would destroy buildings all around me." So with that said, in a previous fight, All Might said to a villain, like, "I would have killed you in 3 punches, where it's taking me like 500 now." So just take that into factor. What I could do before at 100% would be like not even like it's a fraction, a decimal of what I'm doing now. Like, so if All Might can do that at 100%, and then Might Guy at 100%, which is the 8 inner gate, just and if you've seen Naruto, he like creates a blood dragon pretty much. I just feel like one for all, which is All Might's power, is just too OP when it comes to that.
So, question: who won that fight though?
In death battle, and spoilers ahead, All Might loses and Might Guy wins.
Really?
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie. I'd probably place my money on All Might just because, once again, if he catches you with just one punch, and just even from what I've seen from how Midoriya was using his powers, he catches you with one punch, that it is just like taking on 10, 20 different nukes all on at once.
That's what I'm saying. But they voted it in my guy's favor, which to me was like, is it really a win since after you go the 8 inner gates you die? But I don't know.
Yeah. So was it? I will have to look up the fight because now I'm really curious myself to see how it goes. But I see your point.
Right. All right. So that was my little sidetrack that I really wanted to kind of engage with you. But tell me what we got. What's on today's menu?
Real quick, to give out a little bit of news, seeing Sony having coming out with the news for the PlayStation 5 and everything.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So what did you think seeing the new PlayStation 5 real quick?
I thought slightly, my first reaction was, like my first initial reaction just looking at it based off of nothing was, y'all are doing too much. Y'all are trying to overboat it and just like make it look like, oh, this is the new technology of the future and such. But as I'm getting into it, I'm looking at it from all angles, because there's if I really dive into articles and all that, there's like not too much to go off of it, but it's interesting.
I mean, definitely interesting. One of the things that low key bothered me, and I didn't notice until like I went back and looked at all the other PlayStations. The first PlayStation was gray. PlayStation 2 was black. PlayStation 3 was black. PlayStation 4 was black, and then this one's white. I'm all like, I could have kept on with the little kind of color scheme. Since you guys are sequentially naming each PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's really not much look wise you should do with it. I mean, in my personal opinion,
right?
They also coming out with 2 different versions. One that's digital only, which means you can only download games probably from the store. Mm-hmm. And then the ones where you can still probably buy the disc. And so this is where
weird.
Yep, but this is where you should also be paying attention, where you're seeing Xbox, like Microsoft and Sony probably trying to leave the whole hard disk away. And so what I kind of know from the background is, so you things like GameFly and GameStop now that kind of resell games and everything, like you might see these guys disappear within the next couple of years.
Which is, if you think about it, that's like Blockbuster. DVDs became obsolete. Like, I mean, they're still sold, but you get them from like Walmart. Honestly, like, is there any DVD chain store going around? Other than, what do you call it, Redbox, where you can just... is Redbox in other states?
I would think so.
I would think so too. I'm just not exactly sure, because like, if you actually look at it, like, states like across the country have all different things that we just don't know.
Yeah, but just even going to California, like, they don't, like, I know they got some Walmarts in California, but there's different stores, like, everywhere you go. Like, you don't always see the same gas stations.
For example, I went to Vegas, like I said, this weekend. And we have, in Arizona, we have Fry's. They have Smith's. Literally the same store, though. Like, if you go in, there's a store out here that I literally saw the same exact sign. You walk in, you go to the right, there's the fruit and vegetables. You turn left all the way to the left, there's the toilet paper and laundry detergent and all that. It's the same thing, just name different.
Huh. Definitely interesting.
But to jump back on the PS5.
Yeah. Then also, like, the games and everything, too. So they try to debut Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2,
the Miles Morales one.
Yeah, I'm actually low key really interested in it. Even though I wasn't interested in like the previous one that just came out, I'm like, you know what, I kind of can't wait for that one. And also, there's finally a Horizon Zero Dawn 2 coming out. Like, yes,
it's confirmed.
Yeah. Oh yes, most definitely. The first one did really, really well. And so I'm really, really happy to see it.
I'm pulling up a picture. I don't mean to jump off the Horizon Zero 2 because I know a lot of people enjoyed that. But for a quick side note, like, I pulled up a picture of the new PS5 Miles Morales edition, and I gotta say the design of it, just off of looks, is pretty dope.
See, this is what I was sad be looking for, like a red PlayStation. Like, this is what I need. I mean, not red, but like black and red, like Spider-Man symbol.
If you've seen, just a black one. If you've seen the new Spider-Man movie Into the Spider-Verse with Miles Morales being the main character, imagine his suit from that movie, and it's like, put it on a PS5.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it really does low key look dope. The design also still is low key bothering me, like,
because it looks like they're trying to do too much.
Yeah, and my girl also made a little funny comment saying it looks like a Xbox. What was that, Xbox One or Xbox 360? One or the other. And I'm all like, wow, she low-key kind of...
And here's another thing. Apparently, you're not supposed to lay this one horizontally. It's only a vertical type of console.
Lies. Shenanigans.
Which is, like, I don't know. That's the same thing that goes back to me with the digital and physical copy. Like, why are you limiting people now? Like, why can't I lay my system horizontally? Why can't I buy something on a physical disc? Me personally, I like some of my games in physical disc because I guess, call me old school. I like the physical copy. I like to have that memorabilia, like the Final Fantasy 15 case. I like it legit just for the case, but I don't want to have a room full of video game cases and all that stuff. So that's why I have another portion of my games on digital.
Yeah, so I definitely see your point in that. I would also say maybe the Switch making everything go digital. I'm hoping to see that maybe everything, like making games or even obtaining games, will go cheaper. The reason why I still love discs is because of GameStop, where if I buy a game, let's say what was the recent game that was a total letdown?
Tekken 7?
Well, don't worry, we're gonna do a whole episode on letdown games and movies and anime. It's coming, I promise you.
A recent game that was a letdown?
It came out.
Fallout 76.
No. There was one really big one, and for some reason I cannot remember its name. That's probably why I hate it so much. It was one where you was in a mech suit and you were flying around.
Titanfall?
No, not Titanfall.
Mech suits and you were flying around?
Yeah. I think you got the.
Oh. Yo, I know what he's talking about. It was a big one, and they're probably like screaming into the mics, or like, yes. I know what you're talking about. It was, what the heck was that game?
Oh my gosh! Try to look it up for me because before we were going for it, but this game right here has so much hype around it, but it turned out to be really, really bad in the end. The gameplay was really, really short. The story wise, the campaign was really, really short. It was just a letdown, all the way around. There wasn't really much you can do with it. I did like how the flying interface and everything using the mechs. You got to use 4 different mechs. There was, like I said, there was a lot of a potential, but you really didn't get a lot of it. So,
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm really trying to find this too.
I think it came out February of last year.
Go ahead and start naming off games. Anthem. It was Anthem.
Anthem. Thank you.
Jesus.
For some reason, I cannot think of Anthem. But yeah, so Anthem was one. It was such a. I had such high hopes for it. Everybody around me was hyped for it. And after finally getting the game, within 48 to 72 hours as I beat the game, was horribly, just disappointed. And once again, the reason why I love GameStop, you can go back in and return the game and at least get half the price back. And this is where I think the digital part will heavily decline in. Where it's yeah. But so little brother, on to today's topic. Sorry, because I know I had deviated from it earlier.
Oh no! I would hope that's what people come for.
And so our top topic today would be, and how can I phrase this? Who is your top villains?
Oh. See, there are a lot of title-worthy villains throughout the anime world, throughout the video game world. Where do I even begin?
Yeah, and so today I kind of want to say what's your top 5 for anime, and then what's your top 5 for video games?
Oh, see, I do have them written down though. So I would rather, because I don't want to just say them off and then just spoil this, because we're gonna treat this episode like the top swordsman that we did a few weeks back, and just go down our list. We don't know what we wrote for each other's tops, and once again, this is gonna be purely based off of opinion. This is not even something that's set in stone. We might think different about this later.
I will agree to that. All right, so let's start with our top 5 anime list. I kind of want to start this one off.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so for my top 5 villain anime, my number 5 would be Naraku. Naraku from Inuyasha.
Okay. So I'm not gonna lie, I had that on my list.
Really?
I had Naraku on my list.
Oh wow!
But I put him as an honorable mention.
Oh wow! I think so next time we'll try to do the honorable mentions at the beginning, just a shout out to everybody who couldn't make the list but didn't make the list.
Mm-hmm.
But so for myself, Naraku Inuyasha was still one of the first animes that I've ever really been into.
Okay.
And so seeing Naraku, he was the first boss villain. He was the first antagonist that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And so Naraku was just the villain who basically was the main antagonist who kept on thwarting their plans, kept on pushing our characters, making their lives really miserable.
Return after return,
killing people close to them, taking control of people close to them, and really just making the whole journey really hellish.
Right.
And so, I would just say to Naraku, of course you pushed our main characters to be the best, but man, did you put them through the ringer just to get through it. You really, really, really was.
And I said this in a previous episode, because I think it was a recommendation a while ago, or no, I think it was during the Top Swordsman, because we had Shishomaru on there. Mm-hmm. But the thing that killed me about Naraku was he had the one blatant weakness, was that spider tattoo on his back. And I felt like that was the heart of him.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to destroy that piece of his body, because mind you, if what's not Naruto? Why do I keep saying Naruto? Inuyasha has this technique called the wind scar, and it basically just tears up and destroys anything in his path. Naraku. Inuyasha has hit Naraku with this technique so many times and blown his body apart so many times, but Naraku has a regenerative ability and he pieces himself back together. But for some reason, every time he blew him apart, that spider tattoo would be the only thing left, and it would be pulsing. And at least for the audience, you see it pulsing. I'm not so sure if they saw it pulsing, but like it was, as it pulses, it slowly puts back all the like the meaty chunks of Naraku back together. And he was like Aku from Samurai Jack. I will see you again, Samurai, and then fly away. It's like, we're just gonna do this again tomorrow.
Yeah. And so for a while they had stopped the anime, and then like 10 years later came back and finished it. So thank God for finishing it.
Thank God.
Even though I don't necessarily remember how they finished it, they finally defeated him
eventually.
Yep, Kagome and Yasha had kids.
Oh, they finally. That's like a Naruto Hinata situation. They finally. I mean, for them, it was kind of like it looked like it was never gonna happen, but for Inuyasha,
it was gonna happen. He just had to get over his dead ex-girlfriend.
No, I'm talking about Naruto and Hinata. Like, it seemed like that might have not was gonna happen. But yeah, for Inuyasha and them, you could tell that they were pushing for it, and then it finally just came full circle.
I mean, it's kind of crazy how Hinata had to wait like almost 15 years to get the guy she had a crush on down. Like all the way, I would say like 15, like 12 years, because all the way from like they were kids in before even the tuning exam, she always had a crush on this dude, and you literally had to wait 12 years. Like,
but she was committed though.
She died, came back to life. I'm like, yo, you died and came back to life, and you were still in love with this dude. I'm so surprised.
Loyalty knows no bounds. Oh. That's why Hinata is a lot of people's waifus. Right. Naraku is a good choice, though.
All right, so what's your number 5, little brother?
And see, I put together a list of top tier villains, but if I'm gonna say, I'm gonna reiterate back to My Hero Academia, and I'm gonna say, you thought I was gonna say All for One. No, I'm going to say Stain.
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 Elaborate.
Stain was a villain who basically and I've seen this concept before. His whole mentality was he didn't want these fake heroes, pretenders, just roaming around the streets and calling themselves heroes. He felt like they were posers, that they were impersonators of what a real hero should be. And he went about it the wrong way by killing off these said heroes, or posers in his words. And he felt like the only one who was worthy was All Might, because he truly embodied the symbol of peace, or the symbol of what it means to be a hero.
So was he going around killing all other type of heroes except for All Might?
Yes.
Wow.
And he got away with it for a while. He actually, Deku's friend, I forgot his name, but his hero name is like Engine. Engine's brother actually almost died from him, but I think Stain ended up paralyzing him, which is bad because Engine's family's whole thing is their power is like, it's like a family line thing. Their power is speed. They run like their engines in their legs or something like that.
Weird concept, but okay.
And so when you're a runner and you get paralyzed, you're done.
Yep. So now you've been turned into a civilian,
which is bad. But it was the fact why he is up on my list is because I felt like Stain, just the drive, the motive, and like just the willingness to go far and above and beyond. And he didn't stop until he wanted his goal to be. He eventually got stopped because, your body can only be pushed so far, but his mentality was just there, and he was going to stop at nothing to achieve his goal.
So he had a really strong conviction.
Conviction's a great word.
How was he stopped?
So Midoriya, Engine, and Todoroki ended up being at the right place at the right time. Engine kind of like went looking for him, and Midoriya and Todoroki were on their hero provisions, which is kind of like you go around with a certain hero, like a professional hero, and you kind of like overshadow them. That way, you can get experience. So they were all ended up meeting up in this alley where Stain was about to kill another hero when they step in and try to stop him, and the fight just drags on. Todoroki kind of like set them up, Engine and Midoriya, for a final attack. They kind of like take him down, but they're while this is all going on, these Nomu creature monsters are kind of like tearing up the city, and one of them like as they meet up back with their heroes. One of the Nomus picks up Midoriya, and Stain kind of like just jumps up and just kills the Nomu, like just straight up. He first knocks him down out of the sky because he can fly, and then he straight up murks him in the brain. He just like, dude is on another
So you actually
level.
see people die in this episode.
Well, Nomu, I mean, yeah, kind of, if you consider the Nomus who are kind of like people. They were people, but got people like a bunch of powers mixed up into them, so they're weird creature monsters. Yeah, they were people. And if you consider the Nomus how they were tearing up the town, they probably got a few bodies on their count. Yeah, but and that's why I said, like, my hero's not blind to death, so there's most likely had people been dead. But did they show it on camera for us? No. But the number 2 hero comes by. So number 2, like, he's not a pushover. He's right under All Might. Comes by, sees the situation, and he's about to go take down Stain. But Stain kind of like looks back, gives him this look of just like death and like, I will like kill anybody who gets in my path. And he starts to go on this rant saying like, these heroes are all pretenders. None of you are worthy. The only one who's worthy is All Might. And he like pretty much just like gives this like essence of just like, I don't even know what to call it, death, I guess. This is the best word.
This aura of death and like despair.
And all the heroes, all like the professional heroes, the cops I think were in the area, and everybody was just like stunned by this dude. Like, they didn't know what to do with him, and he was about to just continue, but he kind of like passed out. They found out that like one of his cracked ribs pierced his, like, I think it was his lung or his heart, one of the two. So it was like, that's what I mean. Your body can only be pushed so far. So guess what? You're still human, dude.
Yeah. Dang, bro, that's a horrible thing. So close, and just your body just gives out on you.
He didn't die though. They got him to the hospital, and they chained him up, and he's then locked away someplace.
Oh wow, I'm wondering what kind of prison holds the bad guys.
I mean, his power wasn't OP. His power was like, if he cuts you and he consumes your blood, you are now paralyzed. So that's not the most OP power I've ever heard of. It's very useful for him because his physical ability of just like, he's a fighter. Taijutsu from Naruto would probably have a problem with him.
All right. Definitely respect to him, yo. He definitely sounds like somebody who you wouldn't want to go up against.
Yes, sir. All right, so yeah, and once again, like, Stain convinced me to replace Stain up on the list. That I just have him right here because I really like Stain, and I don't feel like people give him enough credit. I feel like they go immediately to another villain named I forgot his name, but he has these like hands over his face, and his power is decay. If he touches you with his full palm, you start to just decay and erode, and like your body will fall apart. And then there's another dude called Overhaul who's pretty much OP. It's like the decay dude. He can take apart stuff and then put it back together to benefit him. He can borderline take other people's powers. I think he actually does. Like, like I think people are just overshadowed by him at the time.
I feel like this, but I definitely give it. They really, really did a great job being creative with everybody. Most definitely. All right.
Who you got next?
All right. So my number 4, definitely probably a favorite protagonist, but ended up being an antagonist in the end. And once again, I'm not sure if I probably shouted him out or gave him some recognition in any previous episodes. He is Lelouch Lamperouge.
And this is why I truly do love the anime. It's probably the first one where I seen the main good guy turn into a bad guy and still be the main character, like the one that we were rooting. I'm not so sure about y'all, but I was rooting for Lelouch through the whole entire way.
Exactly, because coming from being the underdog and like being oppressed, being the people who were being oppressed and everything. Like you wanted to see him win. Exactly. You wanted to see him teach his overseers a lesson.
Right.
And so seeing Lelouch going through everything, you know, catching up with the rebellion, working with them, trying to build a whole organization and trying to beat, I guess, who was it, like his father or his stepfather or somebody?
Yeah, it was his whole royal bloodline, and you know, his dad was basically trying to play God.
Exactly. And for him to try to overcome all that, that was only a part of his main goal. His main goal was to bring all the countries to see as equals.
Right.
You know, and instead of just be called 11s, they wanted to be Japanese again.
Right.
So it's almost like Britannia was almost like Britain. Britain taking over the Chinese and Japanese areas, and using derogatory names for them, calling them 11s.
And that was like signifying like they were the 11th country to be taken over or some crap like that.
Once again, not really remember sure, but we'll probably go with that.
Right.
Just to see and he was supposedly, and so once again, he is not necessarily the bad guy. He is the underdog who's trying to come back over, who's trying to come from under and try to regain his country's status, Japanese status. And from there, his overall goal was once again to unite the whole world to become equal. And so, in the end, he had become a tyrant and made the whole world go up against him. So to first start off as the hero and then become the villain to the whole world hates you. And then, spoiler warning, to have your best friend kill you in the end. To make all your goals and dreams come true, to build a better world, and his number one goal was to build a better world for his little sister Nanali.
Right. Because she's like, what was she, blind and crippled?
Blind and crippled, yes.
Yeesh. Talk about being dealt a bad hand.
Yeah, and so for his goal to really be completed that way, I was seriously like, wow, like I did not see this coming, like, yo, you really went all the way to see your goals and dreams accomplished, my guy.
How I kind of like looked at it was like, and it's probably like I said, it's probably the most unique way I've seen an anime take on, or any story take on this aspect. He literally made himself the villain, the tyrant that he gave the world a common enemy for them to agree on and say, we must band together and get rid of this one person just so we can all be united. Like, I have never seen like somebody take on that type of responsibility or just, you know, like this, I will be the one, I will be the sacrifice. I will be the one who binds everybody together by taking care of, like, by killing me. That blows I'm telling you, when I saw that finale, or like when I saw the final episode, I didn't want to cry. I was just stunned. I was just like, my mouth was just hanging open because I was just like, what the heck? What?
Exactly. I was stunned. I was definitely like, felt something like a tight feeling in my chest. Like, wow, man. Like, I wish you didn't have to die in the end. Right. But you did it because, you know, you had a goal in your mind. You set out to accomplish it. And with your death, you did it.
And it just, like you said, for your best friend, who supposedly, because honestly, I forgot some point in that anime, but after he saw Lelouch the way he saw him, he just, oh, you're not my friend anymore. I want to kill you from the get-go.
So, yes and no. Even though, like, they've always, like, even to the end, they had a relationship, and Lelouch actually told Suzaki, who was his best friend, that, hey, you're going to have to be the one to kill me. You're going to have to take on the role of Zero to come back and kill me.
It was, I can't talk enough about this. Please, like, this is like a recommendation. Go watch Code Geass, like, on Netflix. I'm pretty sure they got it on Hulu or wherever you watch. Crunchyroll is probably the biggest one. Crunchyroll, if you want to sponsor us, go ahead and give us a sponsorship. But just go watch this anime, because I promise you, it's about 2 seasons, I believe.
Yeah,
and you will not be disappointed. It actually is kind of like interesting off the bat. Like if you follow the 3 episodes rule, by episode, if not 1, 2, you will be interested.
Oh, most definitely. So shout out to Lelouch Lamperouche from Code Geass.
Rest in peace, bro.
Yep. All right, little brother, what is your number 4?
Whew, how can I follow that up? Lelouch Fratenia, man. My man is a beast. I guess I will follow that up with Father from Brotherhood.
Father from Brotherhood?
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, yes. And so I guess the age-old, or not even age-old question, but just people going back and forth. Do they like Full Metal Alchemist or Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood? Me personally, Brotherhood is the only one I've seen.
So the other one wasn't entirely different. It just had a different ending. So
Right.
if you look up both endings and see the difference in them, you basically got the full scope of both of them.
It was like people said the Brotherhood followed the manga better, right?
Yep.
Okay. So guess what? I'm gonna go off of that one. So Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is kind of like based off these 2 guys, Edward and Alphonse Elric, and it kind of follows around Philosopher's Stones, alchemy, and military, like all that such. And their main goal in life was to get back their bodies after messing with the Philosopher's Stone. Or not even a Philosopher's Stone. They were trying to bring back their mothers, which ended up kind of like messing their own bodies up.
So yeah, and so from the story is whatever you want, you have to give it equivalent exchange,
right?
And so basically, to bring back life, you have to give a life, and so that's how the brothers lost. One brother lost his whole entire body, and the other one lost an arm and a leg.
Got to give an arm and a leg just to get.
Oh gosh,
this video.
Gosh,
this dude. Okay, I won't even get into that, but I'll tell you later.
Yeah, so during this whole entire story, they're just trying to find Alphonse's bodies.
Or find a way to get his body back.
Yeah, and then the other one is, I forgot, Edward?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so Edward is trying to find his little brother's body throughout this whole entire thing. They're just looking for a Philosopher's Stone to do it. And
so Father, and it's weird because the guy's called Father because he's technically the father of these what are called homunculi or homunculus if you see them just individually, and they represent the 7 deadly sins. No, not the anime. Meliodas' son is not in here. But the 5 deadly sins, wrath, lust, gluttony, envy, pride, I'm missing one, sloth, and I'll be out here.
You're better than me because you got way further than I would have if I tried.
Greed.
Okay.
And then these homunculi are just like monsters. They tear up city after city. They go through people after people. Lust actually killed one of the, or was it Envy? Envy killed one of the most beloved characters in the anime. I forgot his name.
Oh wow.
He was Mustang's friend. Like after he died, his daughter came up to the funeral. She's like, "Why is Daddy sleeping? Bring back like
God, such a." Once again, we have to definitely give a anime to like the most heartfelt deaths in all of anime.
Oh, I'm not ready for that episode.
Oh my gosh!
But to just go further on, so he's called the Father because he's the father of this homunculi, and oddly enough, he has the body of Ed and Alphonse's father. So when they say father, they kind of mean it literally for them.
Oh wow!
And Father is just, but I put him on this list and at the position he's in because he did this from like years down the line. Like he had this plan before Ed and Alphonse were even born, or at least him himself. So it's not their dad, but their dad was also in the study of Philosopher's Stone and trying to figure out what its properties are or what is this and that. And he ends up creating, I don't even say a homunculi, but it's kind of like a homunculus like type of figure. And this, I guess we'll call it a ghoul just for time's sake. He basically creates his own body, but the only figure he had to base off on was Ed and Alphonse's father. So he basically created a clone, or just like a bodysuit. But they're two different people. And this little figure, this little ghoul, has set this plan from like years and years. And his ultimate goal. So the only way to actually create a Philosopher's Stone is like that law of equivalent change. The philosopher will let you do like anything, but it takes like souls, like abundance amounts of souls. So he basically was willing to like kill the entire earth and collect every person's body on earth just to create this Philosopher's Stone. And he kind of almost got close to doing it, but he ends up creating like a perfect body. So like, I guess he, as Ed and Alphonse's dad, as the example, he kind of just made himself age backwards into, I want to say, maybe his early 30s, late 20s. Like he had just like the peak body,
the physical physique and everything.
Yeah. And then, and mind you, Alphonse and Ed's dad does come back and help them try to defeat this ghoul or whatever. And dude was just like, it took the entire military that they had at the time just to even lay a hand on this dude, because he's just tearing it up. If you want to know like power scale wise, or like what powers he's using, they used what's called alchemy, and basically, for a quick example, if I needed a sword, I need material to make said sword. If I have a stone or just like a metal bar, that's my material that I use. I literally turn this rod into a sword, like the sharpness, the edge, and all that. So he's basically like using the material around him just to create all this random stuff. And since he has the Philosopher's Stone embedded in him, he's basically creating something out of nothing. So dude is like, he's top tier, taking out these people just one by one. And it was kind of like, how did they defeat him? Because guess what they do defeat him? It was just like the collected, like, of everybody, like even like this villain named Scar, like he's in the anime too, and he basically was gonna kill every alchemist out there just because he feels like they're kind of like sacrilege against God or something like that. And basically, everybody almost died because messing with this dude. This dude was top tier, honestly. Like, he was bad.
Oh yeah, definitely sounds. I won't say OP, but definitely sounds like the equivalent of the last boss of any anime or anything, and was definitely bad.
And I'm sorry I can't give like too much detail on it, but like, just know, like, especially if you want to watch this, I believe it's like the one season, but it has like 50 some odd episodes in it. So yeah, you could just go off of that. And
I won't say 50 though. Does
it has a good amount of episodes in it, but it's a good watch. It's cool. It's entertaining. Will it captivate you in that first episode? Maybe
not. It depends. But it was good. It was pretty good. Like I did have much love for the anime. Like I really did.
Exactly. So the father, and literally, if you think I'm like missing his name or anything like that, no, they literally just called him the father. He's on this list just because like just how far he had to plan back just to create this plan and then actually achieve it. But then, it took everybody just to defeat him. So man can get his plans done.
Shout out to him.
Go ahead. I'm gonna send it off to you.
All right. So my number 3, and I brought up this person before, probably on our antagonist and our protagonist episode. It's a female.
Really?
Yep. Gusai.
Gusai.
From Future Diary.
I was trying to say, like, why does it sound like I hate that name?
So once again,
oh my god.
This is one of those where one of those animes that had like a crazy twist in the end.
You know what? You said I'm gonna bring this up again, and I was like, I didn't know what to think. But now that you said, oh, you suck.
I definitely really, really like Future Diary, just the whole concept of it, of the whole let's say tournament.
Yeah, you could compare it to a tournament.
Yeah, of how a group of people, 10 people, had to kill each other to see who become the next god.
Mm-hmm.
So Gusai once again, spoiler warning. She wins. So she's basically one of the contestants. Her and another boy beat everybody. They fall in love, but only one person can become the next god. And so her idea was, okay, I'll kill my lover, become god, and bring my lover back. She finds out she can't do that. Once you kill somebody, they're dead and gone. They can't be brought back. So what she does is go back in time, kill her
herself,
kill her former self, and take her place.
Just the concept of it, it's good. It's good, but I hate just the anime in the final episode, and it's.
And so yeah, the final. And so why I'm saying she's like a top villain is just because of how going through the anime at first, she just seems so weird and like she knows everything and
she's too dang smart for her own good.
Like, but you find out why, because like she's already played through everything.
By the way, she is the textbook definition of a tsundere.
No, not really. No,
she is.
No, because she gets with the main character, and she wants the main character to choose her. She's not the one who's like, "Oh, I don't want you to choose me," when he chooses somebody else.
Oh, sorry, yandere. Sorry, they're not tsunderes. They're two different things. Yanderes are like, they'll kill anybody and everybody just for their love.
Yeah, whoever gets close to the main character or whoever they love.
Which she is, in fact, a yandere to the max.
Yeah, because she does, in fact, kill any and everybody. Like, she has no problem killing a whole lot of people.
She was willing to kill his mom just because his mom said, "Oh, I don't think that's the right girl for you." She went crazy.
But yeah, and so the whole concept of killing her love just to go back and be with them again, I'm like, yo, if you want a waifu, get a girl who's willing to kill you, become a god, go back in time just to be with you again. That's love. That's love.
If you want to call it that, I call that psychotic, mentally insane. Just this. Okay, so my biggest gripe about this anime is not even with what's her friggin' name? Yuno Gesai. It's not even my problem with her. My main problem is with Yukihara. Yukido. Oh my god, this dude is a bland, just ignorant protagonist who I just want to punch in the face.
So for a lot of the anime, he does whine and cry and act like a little baby.
I'm not gonna rant on this anime right now. Not this episode.
But I will give it to him. Like he does man up towards the last few episodes.
Like the last maybe one episode, but
let's give it some respect.
If I'm not gonna rant on this anime, then I'm at least gonna talk about, you're right. She to do that, to go back, become God. So you already won. You're just doing this because you want things to happen your way. Mm-hmm. And I think she did it. Didn't she do it like twice or something like that? Or did she just have her past self capped up somewhere? Like she had her in that cage or something?
No, she killed her past self. That's the first thing she did, and buried her past self.
And buried her. Oh, just the fact that like how far she's willing to go to get what she wants. That's conviction right there. She literally became God.
Yeah, became a literal God. Tried to do everything because her goal was, even after the second time, was to win the whole little game again, kill Yukido again, and just keep doing it over and over and over.
Mind you, she didn't really have, and they have these things called future diaries. It's called future diaries for a reason, because they have diaries, but they're going to their cell phones, and it tells them a certain future. And for her, to me, she didn't really have a useful one. Hers was the future of her beloved, which is Yukido. Yeah, Yukido. It would only tell her diary would only tell her Yukido's future. Which, if I'm in a game to kill everybody else so I can win, that's not helpful, I guess.
She made it work though, and she won.
She made it work to her benefit, dude. What was Yuki's? What was his future diary?
To be able to see like 10 seconds to his future.
Oh wow, let's see. That's pretty decent actually. I mean, I'd rather see like maybe 5 minutes so I can get all that, but like, 10 seconds,
something like that.
Everybody had their own like specific thing with their diary.
Yeah, we won't go on to all that, but yeah, she's my number 3
though. She's good because I just don't like the anime.
It was good. Go ahead, little brother. What's your number 3?
Yeesh. See, now this is where it gets choppy for me.
Choppy.
And by choppy, I mean the 3 that I had could be considered number 1 for all of them. But if I'm gonna just go with one right now, I'm gonna say Eins und Gaun from Overlord.
I wish I tried to kept up with this anime, but for some reason I'm just like, you know what? After the second season, where it seemed like the focus on side characters that you knew were gonna get killed and die, I'm like, I don't care. Like, you're not gonna make me care about somebody who I already know is gonna die.
See, and you really should have kept going, because like as soon as that second season is over with, it picks right back up. And I know it shouldn't take a whole season for like the whole season was basically one big filler, but it still progressed it. It was really working on Eins und Gauns, and I'm gonna just call him Momon, or what was the name? Dang. He had like 2 different names, but Eins, I guess I'll go with Eins. Eins basically was, and mind you, so if let me roll it back. Eins is this kid who basically, from Earth, he was in this video game server, and the big thing is how he got stuck into this video game was that they were going to shut down the system, but he wanted to wait till the last second to it shut down. So he was still logged in, and as the last second dropped, he noticed that he was still stuck in this game, and he himself is playing a Lich King. And if you don't know what a Lich is, it's basically like a wizard skeleton.
It's almost like a necromancer.
Yeah. And he went from playing this character who like he was still in charge of this guild and all that. So he had like top tier generals, and mind you, all of his people who are on his side are all top tier villains themselves. He basically went from this king, and he was, I guess in the first season, he was helping people.
Yeah, which was really weird how he did like a complete 180 and started really getting to the whole Lich King persona.
Exactly. So he went from kind of like helping people that would benefit him to, okay, if I'm just doing this, I might as well play my role and actually be a Lich King.
So in the first season, he still seemed like to have a conscience. He cared about all the his generals, because those were characters his guildmates had made.
Right.
And then from there, like you said, second season was so much of a filler, I didn't care. But the third and fourth seasons, I'm hearing that like he just really, really took over the persona of the Lich King and started killing, massacring everybody.
So what the second season kind of held was him just taking over territory, to be honest. It started with like these lizard dudes or lizard men, and he kind of like basically that whole thing was weird because it kind of like went in a circle. They saw him, he challenged them, they tried to fight him, and you knew he didn't even send one of his top generals to take that area. What I'm getting at is he's basically kind of like just taking over all these areas and basically making his presence known into this world. And what the third season kind of held was he's truly becoming a Lich King. Like, what was it? Like I said, he's making his presence known. So the kingdom that was like kind of nearest to him kind of set up these merchants or just like random warriors and all that. They had like 5 different groups, like all of them going at his kingdom, and none of them stood a chance, not even like a slightest of a chance. Like one of them, one group, the leader from that group, he died to Ainz' pet. He died because the hamster dude, and it's like a little big old hamster thing with a snake on its tail. I don't grasp
really,
much.
really weird. Like when you try to take anime seriously sometimes, and it just does little things like that. You're just like, oh well.
The hamster thing, though, it was just trying to be better for its master, which is Ainz. So he had one of the generals kind of oversee him in his fight, and he wrecks him. He like actually breaks him kind of mentally because he's like, I don't like, how can I not beat this one little furball thing? And he like eventually kills him, and he goes back to the general. He's like, did I do good? He's like, you did adequate. You did decent.
Wow, he's like, you did alright. You know what I mean? I won't say great, but you did pretty okay.
But as these humans go further into the area, there's like one group of humans left, and they meet Ainz, and there's like 5 of them. And you know, like if you ever play D&D or something like that, you got your wizard, you got your tanky knight, you got your fighter knight, you got your archer, and all that. And they're going at Ainz, and Ainz is kind of like, so do you realize who I am? They're like, you're this tyrant who's taking over all these lands, but do you realize you are in my territory? Like, I wouldn't have killed any of you if you would have stayed out of my territory. Thus, you are in my territory. I'm going to actually fight you right now, but I won't use my top tier magic powers and all that stuff. So he gets out like these 2 swords. He strips his like armored out cloth or whatever. So you just see the skeleton in him, and he's taking these humans on, not even really trying at that. Think of it like this. These humans are level 10 going up against a level 99, pretty much 100 boss. It's not working. And they're going at him, and it's like I think they try to set up a thing where they're like, we will make a final attack. We will beat him. Like, and I guess I'm not so sure, so don't judge me. I think one of them said like, use your true power at us. Don't treat us like we're like pipsqueaks or something like that. And then he's like, all right, so I'll use my magic power on you right now. And he like starts to power up magically, and then the one mage of the group is all like, don't worry, we can still beat him. I'm reading his magical level and it's nothing. We can still do this. He's like, oh, let me take off this ring that suppresses my power. Boom! He like just aura just flies off of him, and she throws up just because she's seeing all this massive power on him. She's like, run, we can't do this, we are all gonna die. Like immediately. And he straight up kills them. He kills them one by one. And there was like one girl. I love
the blood and gore of it though. I do.
Yeah. One girl was trying to get away because they set it up for her to run away. He sends a vampire chick at her. He's like, go get that. And she like toys with her and she kills her slowly.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, so talk about like Lelouch going from hero to villain. Ainz Gauns kind of started off, he had the blueprint for a villain, so he said, why not? I'm gonna just go full villain.
Truthfully, even how like the season starts, I would have not expected that, but I do like how he's like, you know, who cares and whatever, and definitely just keeps going with it.
So just in general, that's kind of like what Ainz Gaun is to me. He went from that whole hero to villain, and it was real quick.
I mean, well, give a season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, he was needed third. So not necessarily 100% quick, but you're like, this is really taking a left turn. It's like in NASCAR, you got the little straightaway, then it's like a left turn. Oh my god!
Oh, and by the way, he is like, he's no pushover. Ainz Gauns could hang with.
Yeah,
so far,
OP.
the people who I've said on this list, he can hang with them.
Mostly everybody here is not in the video game and is maxed out 99.
And that's another thing though. He is in a video game, but if you were to come to the video game world, you might be a goner.
Oh yeah, he's trashing everybody. I'll definitely give him that. He's trashing everybody. All right, so I'll go shoot off from my second one. My second one is, once again, you know how like methodical people who think about things and plan things out. So there's no surprise where I'm going to give my number 2 as Aizen.
And I knew you were going to do it. So I'll say Aizen's on my list. I won't say where.
So, and so where I have so much love and respect for Aizen is just that for years he's been planning to almost like become a god.
Mm-hmm. To like Father from Full Metal.
Yeah. And he just, what was he trying to obtain again?
Oh, Jesus. I can't remember myself, but
it's crazy how like you haven't seen this anime in almost like so long,
like,
almost and
almost
like
10 years.
almost 10 years. But like the main villain still leaves such a great impression on you, to where you're like,
it's the fact that like with Stain and like with Father, or no, like with Stain and like with Gasai, this the conviction, and like nothing was gonna stop him to achieve his goal.
absolutely nothing. And it was crazy how long like he had an undercover, like he was playing a facade for so long of being like this nice, kind-hearted guy, and not once letting slip.
Dude faked his death.
Yeah, faked his own death. Did he?
Yeah, I remember that. And of course, him being the nice guy, everybody felt so bad for him. They were so sorry. So of course they didn't expect anything of him.
Yeah, but the other crazy part is seeing how when you first see him and everything. So the whole main storyline was Ichigo becoming
a Soul Reaper.
A Soul Reaper. After you become a Soul Reaper, people come back, get Rukia, which is a person kind of given his powers.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to the Soul Society, tries to go fight her back. This is where he meets all the other squad captains and everything. Fights through everybody. Fights through her brother, and once everything kind of like the dust settles, there's a peace / everybody's kind of cool now, give or take some.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is where you kind of start seeing like how Aizen, like,
starts to take his form and starts to take it with his identity.
So out of all these other things that kind of happen in the background, this is where Aizen is kind of working. You also see Ichigo go through all these other different transformations with the mask and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, like you start seeing Aizen's plot for you still got, like I said, other stuff that kind of happens, but it's mostly due to Aizen's work in the background.
And the plot begins to thicken for Aizen.
And so I won't necessarily go back through the whole entire series, but given how he methodically plans his ascendance towards becoming like a god, because even in the end, they didn't kill him. They had to seal him away. They didn't kill him.
But I'm not gonna lie, this is another reason why I love Aizen so much. He became so powerful to where Ichigo needed to go to his like complete ultimate final form, use his most ultimate technique, the final Getsuga Tensho, and still did not kill Aizen.
And still could not beat him. And so, like, even though, like, they gave credit to him, like, yo, you gave this guy a grievous wound, it was like, it was still not enough.
But all for naught.
All for naught. And what you also got to give, even though before he even took on Ichigo, I still think with his regular powers, with his regular Bankai, with his sword, when he uses like his
Getsuga Tensho.
No.
Getsuga Tensho.
When Aizen uses his sword,
Bankai.
Yeah, when he uses like his Bankai, I'm trying to think of like another word for it, like his sword's power. When he makes everything go, when he makes left, right, and right, left, up, down, and down, up, forward, backwards, and backwards, forwards, nobody can fight having to do everything opposite. Right.
And like they have like, knowledgeable, or what's the word I'm looking for? Very intelligent soul generals. What are they called? The Soul Reaper Society, or it's a Soul Society?
Captains.
Yeah, captains. They have very intelligent captains on their side who could, they've been around the block. They know how to plan out a fight. Like Yamato, the head captain. Dude has seen many of fights. Dude has seen many of wars, but even he couldn't really stand up to Aizen.
Yeah, like I said, he can also use illusions to make you or him seem like somebody else. Make your comrade seem like somebody else. Like just even before he reached like the god level, just once again, this dude was 100% powerful, and it took everybody and a mama to try to come and take him down.
It was weird on how many forms he took. Like, I'm looking at him right now, and he went through, how many is that? 7 different transformations?
Well, not necessarily transformations. He went from like the captain to like glasses, evil. Like, so like the last.
No, then the last 4. He definitely went through at least 4 transformations.
I mean, yeah, you could definitely say the transformations. I don't know why they made him start looking so weird and ugly, and like like a little bit.
Yeah, he does look like a moth, don't he?
Yeah. Definitely a hollow too, with the holes in his chest and everything else.
Did they ever say that he was actually pulling hollow DNA or anything like that, or is it just all natural?
Because remember how he was also experimenting, turning people into like partial hollows. This is where you start seeing all the. And I don't want to say this is a filler because this is where Ichigo was really learning how to use his mask. Where, like he met up with all those other rogue people that Aizen was experimenting on that could use part hollow powers.
Right.
And this is the only thing I never really liked Bleach. How Ichigo was part Soul Reaper, part hollow, part Quincy, and part everything else.
Did get all.
I'm all like, yo, like. I don't mind.
They said Soul Reaper, Hollow, Quincy, and then there was one final one that like was a nail in the coffin or something like that.
Yeah, and I'm like, yo, he didn't need to be all this. And of course, I don't mind.
How are you all of this?
Exactly. This is what I also call the Goku complex, where you're just trying to give this guy a new form or a new way to power up, and you're eventually going to reach a ceiling, and it's not going to make no more sense.
Okay, so I pulled up another picture that's kind of like weird. It's like Ichigo, and like they sectioned his face off into squares, but it's like every square is like a different form of him. And the fact that this is even existing to me is like really like, so how many forms does he actually have? The way that y'all could even do this? That's what KV is talking about, like the Goku complex, where he had Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, Super Saiyan 4, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue God, Super Saiyan or Ultra Instinct, like all these different forms. Like where's the power level at? Because every time he hit a new form, it was like, this is the strongest thing that we have ever seen. When is it going to be the last thing?
Yeah, like I said, you eventually are going to hit a ceiling, because even though, and this almost like when you think about it as a video game, you hit level 100, and then even though they might increase the level cap, the numbers are going to get messed up.
Right. But to dial back to Aizen, Aizen was just OP, and it felt like nobody could stop him. And
truthfully, even though they did kind of stop him, if it wasn't for the whole ceiling thing, you wouldn't have stopped him.
Yes, sir. Is that all you got for that one?
That's all I got.
Okay. And spoiler, I'm gonna dial back to Aizen, because honestly, Aizen was my number one.
Ooh.
Aizen was my number one.
Sorry to spoil that.
I felt like Aizen, to be honest, because my brother asked me a while ago. I'm not so sure if he remembers the question.
Why do you emphasize so much on the H?
It's think like, there's a what are you doing? Where have you been?
Is it the W or the H putting so much emphasis?
It's the H. It's like Hank Hill, like, what in God dang are you doing, boy? What?
No,
my name is Hank Hill. I sell propane and propane accessories.
What I really first noticed is when Stewie and Brian was talking about it. Oh, and Brian was like, "Why are you putting so much?" Yeah, like the Cool Whip. And he's like, "Why are you putting so much emphasis on the H?"
Hey Brian, can you give me some Cool Whip? What? Some Cool Whip. Why are you saying it like that? What? I'm just saying Cool Whip. Say cool. He's like, say cool. Cool. Now say whip. Whip. Now say cool. Cool Whip. Cool Whip.
So much emphasis on the H.
Cool Whip.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Stop it. Get some help.
I don't know.
Just stop it.
It's just the thing. Keep it.
I'm sorry.
What
Continue. I apologize for that.
But so like I said, Aizen was my number one because my brother asked me a question a long time ago. It was if I could be one, because usually we go with heroes, like, if you could be one hero from an anime, who would you be? He one day asked me if I could be a villain, which would it be? And I said Aizen. Aizen to me is probably like, and I know there's like other villains out there, but Aizen to me was just so top tier and overpowered. It just seemed like nobody could stop him. And if it wasn't for Ichigo, turning into that final Getsuga show, nobody was gonna stop Aizen.
Oh wow. Okay. So do you want to go ahead and shoot off for your number 2 then?
Yeah. My number 2, and we all know this guy, I'm pretty sure he might actually be your number 1. Mine is Madara Uchiha.
Wow, he is my number 1.
Yup. So we just have our number ones and number twos switched.
Yep.
So wow, that actually kind of worked out. I'm glad that actually worked out.
All right, go ahead.
My number one is Madara Uchiha because the man took on an entire army by himself. The man brought down 2 meteors when you only thought like, oh God, thank God we stopped the first one. Oh, that was impressive. What are you going to do about the second one? The second what? Boom!
Oh my God. And I just like how it's crazy how when he first started off as trying to. So first off, with everybody, like, and I have to also try to remind myself, he was being manipulated. You know, and
true.
Even though he did have a lot of hate for the Konoha village from his brother / rival. You can't really say brother because they are from 2 different clans.
Didn't they narrow it down to cousins or something like that?
Yeah, they're like really distant cousins.
Okay.
Him and the Senju clan, the Uchiha and the Senju clan are like really distant cousins. How after he died, he came back. He wanted to destroy the village. He was definitely being being manipulated into doing it. First taking control of the Nine-Tailed Fox using I don't know, it was like
Gekyo, 6-path Sharingan, all that.
Yeah, on the Tail Fox, using him to attack the village. Losing that fight, having the Tail Fox getting sealed inside Naruto. Building the Katsuki.
Yeah, to what they were, first of all, Akatsuki was built up of all top tier members. Like every single one of them could take on a village by themselves.
I wouldn't say by themselves.
Itachi could take on a village by himself.
Okay, Itachi and Pain are like maybe the only ones. So Kisame, even though he was paired up with, so put it like this: if the whole group decided to attack a village, the village is getting wiped out.
Okay.
Now, if 2 teams themselves decided to attack a village, 3 teams. So it's like 3 because like they were paired in 2s.
Mm-hmm.
So like Itachi and Kisame and like
Durada, and the puppet dude.
Yeah. So now both of them attack like Konoha. Like everybody on the squad already has to go and try to fight Itachi.
Yeah, maybe I overboasted them because they legit did. The puppet dude and the sand dude or clay dude both attacked the sand village and pretty much lost. I mean, they got Gaara, but they lost.
Yeah, so they died, but technically won.
Right.
And so then Sasuke went and fight Deidara and beat him. Did Sasuke kill him? Probably like one Sasuke.
Was he the one who killed him?
Only kill. I don't know. It's crazy. After all that time, Sasuke never killed anybody. I don't know how you're working with Orochimaru and you never kill anybody.
Right.
But kind of jump back on Madara. After building the Katsuki,
the Infinite Suit. Oh no, I'm thinking of
his goal was the Infinite Tsukiyomi.
Right.
Starting the war, being able to take on the 5 Hokages.
And call them a poor imitation of the originals.
Oh my gosh, like he definitely was playing with them to the max, and it's kind of crazy to see how much each generation gets weaker per se.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how is that? Because like these first guys was just monsters.
Here's what's crazy though: you're supposed to be weaker when you're reincarnated, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, dude's taking on the new Hokages or new Kages and still calling them a poor imitation of the originals. Like, I'm supposed to be weaker and y'all can't take me right now? Like,
so he wasn't necessarily weaker. Remember, so 1, he was immortal, and then 2, he had unlimited chakra. So even though, like, so he was by no chance weaker. If anything, like, if he was human, I still believe there'd be no way they could beat Madara. If he was human, even with limited chakra, this dude would still, like, I believe because he was immortal and he had unlimited chakra, he was playing with him so much. But if it wasn't because of that, oh yeah, he would have just instantly did a Susanna for him each, beat their butt, and would have ended this probably within like all of an hour.
And it was just crazy to me because if I'm being all dead honest, I didn't watch all of Naruto like that.
Really?
I watched it in sections and parts because, I'm not the only one who says that there's just a bunch of episodes in Naruto, but I did watch enough to like, pick up parts here and there and see what was mainly going on. His whole transformation, his perfect Madara or something like that, that's what really threw me off and just like, can anybody really stop this dude? Can anybody really touch this dude? It took my guy to go 8 paths and kill my guy just for Madara to say, "Oh, you almost killed me there. That was cool, man. For that, I'll give you a quick death." Like, what?
Once again, and not to do Mike Guy his injustice, he was deemed the strongest taijutsu user shinobi of all time.
Hey, shout out to my guy.
Yeah, even though he literally had to use a technique that says you're gonna die after using this technique, he's like, "Yo, you are by far the strongest taijutsu." He's like, not necessarily strongest, but the best taijutsu user I've ever come across.
He says, "I Madara deem you the best taijutsu user that I've seen so far, man. Good for you. Good for you." But Madara, and it's weird because like when I start talking about a character that I really like or really get into, I start to fumble over my words. Like, I don't know what else to say about Madara that hasn't already been said. Dude, like, and it's the little things. It's the little things. And I've said this before, that the whole, when he was fighting the Great War, he did the simplest thing of somebody threw a paper bomb attached to a kunai at him. He took the kunai, he caught it out of midair, took off the paper bomb, slapped it on somebody else, and kicked them away. They exploded and used the same kunai to kill another person. It's just like, dude is top tier. Like,
and everybody loves referencing that fight just because of like, are you serious? Like, oh my. And yeah, just to see the one man versus an army type of thing. Shout out to Madara.
And then like the moment where the cages were fighting him, and he made a Susanoo for each. Kages. He made a Susanoo for each one of them, saying like, would you rather take, what was it like? Would you rather take 6 Madaras, or would you rather take what was it, the 5 Susanoos?
I think he said each Kage had to fight 5 Susanoos on their own or 5 clones on their own.
Yeah, like
he was really seriously just playing with them.
He's like, okay, I'm gonna give you an option. Which one you want? They're both terrible.
Yeah, so shout out to him. Like, just my guy personally. I love how he could talk stuff and 100% back it up. He's like, yo, I'm easily as like one of the baddest of the bad, and you just can't touch me.
Why don't we think of that for the recommendation that you made last week, King of Hell? He's Madara. He can talk crap and back it up.
Ooh, yeah. So there you go, cocky and everything. He's just like, yo, when I tell you don't want none, I'm telling you, you don't want none.
The smoke, you don't want it.
Do not want it. All right, guys. Usually the bell will come and we would have a recommendation, but since we kind of didn't do the video games this time around, we're gonna actually say this is part 1, and maybe in a couple of days or maybe next week we'll kind of come out with part 2. If we can do it in a couple of days, we'll definitely do a whole nother episode where it'll be like a different episode. But we're gonna kind of stop here and like let this be part 1 of our top 5 villains.
And saying things kind of like a mini shout out. I won't even set off the tone for it this time. Aaron, thank you for that fight for that beginning of it, the whole Rock Lee versus Midoriya. That's a very interesting subject. I know my boy Seth he looked on us and he gave us a subscription, and I know, Karis, you wanted me to give you a last, saved you best for first, or you wanted me to put you first, but I saved you best for last. Thank you, Karis, for subscribing. I told her about it, and she actually gave me a suggestion for the design of the logo.
Ooh, hey, thank you.
So, Karis, you helped out with the logo. Thank you.
Thank you. I always appreciate y'all.
All right, guys. Well, part 1, I guess.
Part 1.
This is the first time we ever done a part.
Yeah, don't want to make the episodes too long for you guys. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns about the podcast, you want to talk to us, please get us at either in the comment section below on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you guys can.
Pretty please.
Or if you guys want to reach us directly, hit us up at mavericks.com. Mavericks at gmail.com. MAVREAKS at gmail.com.
Or hit us up at BBE at sorry. You're making us mess up. BBEMAV2020 at gmail.com. That's BBEMAV2020 at gmail.com.
All right, guys. Thank you for rocking with us for part 1 of the top 5 villains.
Top 5 villains. And don't worry, we'll definitely get this next part 2 out.
Definitely. And timely matter too. Thank you for rocking with us. We will see you guys next week.
Peace.